So that's the song from the Lollipop Guild. In The Wizard of Oz, the Wicked Witch of the East symbolized the industrial giants of the East. And the Munchkins represent the poor immigrants who toil for the industrial giants of the East. If you remember from the story, Dorothy's house lands on the Wicked Witch of the East, who had imprisoned and enslaved all of Munchkin land. And if you look at the Munchkins, they're insignificant people. You can look at their town. They live in these tightly packed, this tightly packed community in Munchkin land. They are powerless, and they are only freed when the people running these big businesses go away. Now, you might remember the Lollipop Guild from that little song there. A guild is another word for a union. And it's no accident that the union, the Lollipop Guild, is the most excited about being freed. They want the ability to have greater power and greater influence over their own working lives. Oh, one other comment about the Munchkins. You can see that they're dressed funny. That's because to Midwesterners like Baum, the immigrants and their strange customs and ways might seem as far removed and alien to them as the Munchkins. Now, Washington, D.C. is symbolized by the Emerald City. The color of money is green, emerald is green, and it's supposed to be where all of the problems that they have are going to get solved. But what takes our heroes to Oz, the Emerald City of Oz, is the yellow brick road. The yellow brick road represents the gold standard. Earlier in American history, all of our currency was supported by gold. What that means was for every dollar in circulation, there had to be $1 of gold stashed away in some place like Fort Knox, Kentucky. The government couldn't just print currency. It had to have enough gold on hand in order to issue new notes. Obviously, gold is pretty expensive, and that meant that the government really couldn't issue a lot of currency. This convinced many people in the populist movement that the gold standard was the problem. What they supported instead was something called the free coinage of silver. Populists wanted to see not only gold, but silver in a movement that they called bimetallism to be used to support American currency at a rate of 16 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold. In the story, The Wizard of Oz, in the original book written by L. Frank Baum, Dorothy is not given ruby slippers. The shoes are changed to ruby slippers during the color movie adaptation of The Wizard of Oz. They thought that ruby would be more sparkly than silver. But in the original book, the silver slippers are the things that Dorothy wears. They are the things that keep Dorothy safe. Remember when Glenda the Good Witch says, "Always wear these shoes," meaning the free coinage of silver. This is what will keep you safe. As long as she keeps these slippers on, Dorothy will be all right. The Wicked Witch of the West has no power to mess with Dorothy as long as she has those shoes on. So why did farmers want to see the free coinage of silver? Well, keep in mind that farmers owed a lot of money. If you're a farmer that owed, say, $10,000 in debt, if there's something called inflation, inflation is when a currency is devalued. Remember the law of supply and demand. The more money that's in circulation, the less that money is worth. The more of anything that's available, the demand for it falls. So with inflation, farmers hoped that all of the money that they owed in outstanding debts would mean that they could be free to write off a lot of their debt. So farmers in debt would love to have a devalued U.S. currency. Meanwhile, the people with money, the haves in society, they obviously would not be too keen on this idea. If you even look at the name Oz, Oz is the abbreviation for the word ounce, which gets back to the 16 ounces of silver per 1 ounce of gold ratio that they marked off.